Hello Eagles, and welcome to Mr. G's art class. Today we're going to be making Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. And you guys know I love Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. It is one of my favorite paintings. What do you notice about his style of painting? Look carefully at his brush strokes. Do you notice there is lots of colors? Even though you see a lot of blue, within that blue there's a lot of different shades of blue. You see swirly lines, and you see big bright stars. And yes, besides the star, look on the right-hand side. That is the moon. That shape is called a crescent. To start making Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, you're going to place your hand at the bottom edge of the paper. Not all the way to the right, not in the middle, not all the way to the left. Notice there is a little bit of space right here you need to leave. Go ahead and trace around your hand. Go up to the top of your paper. Come down. If you want to do a little spike there, you can. And then go around your pointing finger, around your thumb. If you want to do a little spike there, you can. And straight down. Make sure that both lines go straight down. Now that you have the shape of the tree, and it is a cypress tree, just like a Christmas tree is a cypress tree, the tree in Starry Night is a tree. A lot of students tell me, Mr. G, it doesn't look green. Why is the tree not green? Let's see. It's nighttime. So do trees really look very green at nighttime? No, that's why it's not such a bright green. Now you're going to do a horizontal line that goes across. Right across like this. You go across, you stop at the tree, and then you start on the other side. We are doing this because we want to create overlapping. Remember when we did overlapping before with the hand and the flowers? How we stop? And that way we make the tree look like it's in the front, and then we make this line, which is going to be the mountains, look like it's in the back. And that is the effect of overlapping. Next, we are going to be doing the swirly line in the sky. Can you guess what that swirly line is? It has a lot of movement. Sometimes students think it's a cloud, but it is actually the wind. So Vincent van Gogh a lot of times painted movement in his paintings because he wanted to make them feel like if they were alive. To do this spiral in the sky, we're going to do it in about 3 steps. The first step is going to be the little line that goes right before the tree, right here. That's the first line you're going to do. Make sure you don't go into the tree. So as soon as you get to the tree, you stop. Then, for the next step, we're going to start from the tree again and try to line up both lines, the one you just did and the one you're going to do now. And you're going to go around and down all the way to the middle of your paper. And then you're going to make that spiral. So remember, start at the tree and go down to the middle and around and around. And don't make that spiral too small. Try to make it as big as you can. Once you've done that spiral, then here is the third step. You're going to go around that spiral right here. So you're going to go almost like over the mountain, down to the valley, and around at the end of the paper. So again, you do the short little line, don't chop the tree, then you do down and around to the middle of the paper, then you do over the mountain, down to the valley, and around at the end of the page. And if you need time, you can pause the video and then try it again. Now that we have that line and we drew it with blue crayon, if you have pastels, you could do it with pastels. If you don't have pastels, you could do it with crayons or markers, any color materials you have. But your best choices would be either crayon or pastel. Now you're going to do the stars with the crayon or pastel or whatever color material you have in yellow. So notice that there's one here on the top, there's one here at the bottom. So let's count them. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, And then we have the crescent moon right there. So go ahead and make all 9 of them. And when you're doing this with your yellow, make sure you're pressing hard so you get a nice bright yellow. Now with your yellow, you're going to go around each one of the stars and around the moon. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to do little lines, and press hard when you do this. All the way around each star. And you're doing this with yellow, not with red. I'm doing it with red so that it stands out and you can see what to do. And if you need to go back and forth like this to make your yellow bright, you can do that back and forth, because sometimes the first time you color with yellow, it might not be as bright as you want it to do. So you're going to do that for every star, and you're going to do it for the crescent moon as well. Now that you did it in yellow, you're going to pick your orange. And with your orange, you're going to do the same thing. Make sure that your orange little lines don't touch, that there's a little gap in between them. And you're going to color them all the way around with orange, just like that. So they're not touching the yellow and they're not touching each other, the little lines. They're sort of like, almost like sewing or stitching, but they're not dots, they are lines. You see that? Once you finish all your orange, if you need to pause it, I'm going pretty fast because I'm using a video, but if you need to pause it while you're doing your lines, you can do that. If you've already finished your orange, the next color would be blue. And I know my blue looks a little bit light, but it is blue. You could use light blue if you want to. And you're going to go around every star. And take your time, do it right. Starry Night wasn't painted in a day. And maybe it was painted in several nights. Go ahead and do all the blue little lines around every star and around the moon. If you need time to do it, go ahead and pause the video. Next, you're going to pick your blue. And with your blue, you're going to do little lines, almost like if they're ants following a trail. So if you look at my lines, I'm doing them in blue this time. I'm following the line that I had done before, little lines marching in, following the spiral all the way around. And once you've gone all the way around this spiral, then you start the second one, following the spiral, little ants marching in. Bet you have heard that song of the ants go marching in, right? And all the way around. So once you do that line on the top and all your ants are marching in on the top of the line, then you do another one on the bottom where all the ants are marching in at the bottom of the line. And yes, it is a lot of lines and it's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of work, but when you're done, it's going to be amazing. This is the #2 painting, most famous painting in the world. The #1 most famous painting in the world is Mona Lisa. This is the #2 most famous painting in the world. All right, wow, that was a lot of lines. That is because once I did that, I filled in all the extra space with all these little lines. Notice my lines are all sideways. They are sideways, and we call sideways horizontal, remember? So all my little lines that I'm going to use to fill in my empty space are going to be horizontal. And if we're not doing dots, we're actually coloring in little lines. This style of painting is called Impressionism. When you fill up an area with lots of little dots, and if you have different shades of blue, you can use different types of blue, light blue, dark blue, medium blue, green blue, any kind of blue you have. Fill in all the empty space. If you need time to pause it to finish your blue, you can do that. See, there is with different types of blue. It's beginning to look amazing. Now you're going to get your black and you're going to trace your pencil line, and let me switch the color on that. With black, you're going to trace your pencil line and make sure it's nice and dark, and don't go too fast. Trace your pencil line nice and black. Make sure it's dark all the way around your tree. Take your time and trace all the way around your tree. Once you have done that, then make sure you do your mountain line. And for this line, remember, we stop at the tree because we don't chop the tree. Okay, so do the line and stop and do it again. And you're doing this with either a crayon or a pastel. But if you have none of those, you could use a marker as well. And if you only have pencil, you just have to darken that line with your pencil. All right, let's see what we do on the next step. On the next step, we're going to add up and down lines in our tree with black and brown. Now those up and down lines, we call them vertical lines. Remember, sideways is horizontal and up and down is, that's right, vertical. So you're going to take your brown and you're going to do a few short up and down lines with brown in your tree. You're going to spread them around, kind of like when you add salt and pepper. You want to get a little bit of it everywhere. Once you have done that, then you can get your black and do the same thing. Where's my black? There we go. And pretty much it's filled up. You can see with the brown lines and the black lines. So I'm ready for my next step. Wow, that's a lot of information. It looks hard, but it's not. We're going to do it in parts. So if you need to pause it after every step, you can do that. The first step we're going to do is we're going to get our green and we're going to do green lines, and we're going to do these slanted, not vertical, not horizontal, but diagonal. And diagonal means slanted. So we're going to do slanted diagonal lines, short, not too long, all along the bottom of our mountains. We're not going to make them long because we have to leave room for our village. So here we go. I added lots of green lines, and then you can add a few black lines too. So here we can add a few black lines coming from the mountains straight down, and those are also going to be diagonal. All right, after I have done the green and the black, and if you need time to pause the video, you can do that, then I'm going to draw the houses. You could draw the houses any way you like. One easy way to draw the houses is you draw the roof, you draw 2 lines for the walls, and you draw the door. Then you can draw 2 lines on the roof and 2 lines on the sidewall. And you can see right here, you can see how I did a house. That's pretty much how Vincent van Gogh did his houses. I'll show you one more time. You draw the roof, 2 lines for the walls, 2 lines for the door, 2 lines on the roof, and then 2 vertical lines. Okay, so pretty much you can fill in as many houses as you want in your village. I had students that were able to fit 30 houses. And you know how they were able to fit 30 houses? Because not all of them were big. Some of them were little, and they were able to squeeze them in wherever they needed to. So that is pretty much the drawing part of our Starry Night. And if you have paint like watercolor paint would be best, you can give the whole painting a coat of light blue watercolor paint. And that means you would use a lot of water and very, very little paint. Let's see what that looks like. Wow, that looks amazing. Well, this is how you make your Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, and I hope to see what you make. Don't forget to post it on our Flipgrid. I cannot wait to see those amazing drawings. See you soon, Eagles.